This is just going to be a quick video. I'm actually just getting off from work and I'm almost home. It is 5:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I just had this thought, because, I think a lot. I consider myself somewhat of a philosophical person, I guess. So I was thinking, like, on the subject of time. I had this thought. I feel like any type of psychedelic substance or psychedelic compound taken at a high enough dosage allows you to tap into or to access the fourth dimension, a temporal, I can't say that word, sorry. Temporal dimension, there's infinite dimensions, really. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but there's lots of different dimensions. You got first, second, third, and fourth. Well, first, second, and then we occupy the third dimension. I think the first dimension is like up, and then I think the second dimension is like back and forth. No, I think the third dimension is up, down, back and forth, in and out. And then, I don't know, I forgot how to break them down, but like we occupy the third dimension where things are three-dimensional. You can go up, you can go down, and then there's flat, there's flats, there's a flat ground. So there's a flat plane, and then there's forward, back, and then there's up and down. And those make up the three dimensions of space, up, down, forward, back, and then I think in and out. So those are the dimensions of of space. And then then they say that the fourth dimension is time. And so I theorize that when you take a high enough dosage of any type of psychedelic, I think that you have at least some access to the fourth dimension. And why do I say that? Well, because I know I've had an experience on psychedelics, and I remember seeing my girlfriend at the time, her face, it kept changing. She kept going from an older woman to a younger version of herself. And then she was really, really young. And then she was really, really old. All the faces were hers, but it was basically her at different, stages of life, at different ages, because it looked just like her. I can tell it was still her. It wasn't like someone else. It was her, but it was her. It was she kept getting older and then younger and then really old. And then she went back to her present, age. And I remember seeing that when the psychedelic that I had at the time really started to, the effects really started to kind of, kick on and really, go into full effect. And I also remember looking outside and seeing, just everything outside was moving. It was speeding up and then slowing down. And then it was speeding up and slowing down. And then it was it kept on doing that. Everything looked like it was kind of going in fast forward, and then kind of it would go fast forward and then slow down, and then it would be back at like normal speed. I'm just talking about like stuff going on outside, like it just looked like, everything was kind of being sped up and slowed down. And then, it was back in normal speed. It's extremely hard to describe, but this is what I remember from that experience. I only have certain fragments of that experience in my mind still because so much happened. But these are the little clippets of that experience I remember. I remember, like I said, seeing, my girlfriend's face at the time. It kept going from, I kept seeing her at different ages, and then she went back to her present age. And just a lot of different things happen, but that's just, I'm going to make this really, a really quick video. But yeah, I just had that thought that, psychedelics, I feel like psychedelics and stuff like that, they allow you access to the fourth dimension of time when you take them at a certain dose, and it's usually a higher dose. But yeah, I really do believe that it's some type of barrier that is breached within your brain or within your mind, because your brain controls, all of your sensory organs, in your body, and those are what you use to navigate, your perception of, linear space and time in this third dimension. And so I feel like once certain things in your brain are released or hacked, or a certain barrier is broken past your normal sensory, operating system due to ingesting something, once you hack that process, or once you take something that can interrupt that process, you are now, breaking past your normal sensory perception of linear space and time. And when that happens, I believe that you are given access to the fourth dimension, or that is one way that you can access the fourth dimension, which is time itself. So, you literally start to see, a space that is, not one particular moment. It's different moments in that same space, different moments, different states of being, aka, you start seeing that same space, you start seeing that same person at a different age, because that same person is occupying the same space, but at a different point of conceptual or relative time. So technically, that same being you're seeing them as someone that is their present age, someone that is older, someone that is younger in that same space, because time is relative, or it's a concept. I'm having a hard time explaining this myself, so if you can't understand it, I don't blame you, because I'm having a hard time myself. But I'm just trying to, conceptualize it myself right now as I talk about it. But I do think that's my theory about it. That is, my theory about psychedelics at a high dose. It does something to your brain where it interrupts your sensory sense of space and time, and that kind of creates a portal to the fourth dimension, which is time itself. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm about to go in here and go to sleep, but I just wanted to just briefly just talk about that concept, and yeah, that's basically it.